Hi everyone, it's Keira and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. So I started a series on my channel a couple of months ago called Why Should Be in Formula 1, and I started the series off with Antonio Felix da Costa. Everyone enjoyed that video, so I thought I would carry it on and do it again, but this week for Nyck de Vries. Basically in this video I'm going to be talking to you about why I think Nyck de Vries should be in Formula 1, why he deserves a chance to be in Formula 1, arguably why he should have been in Formula 1 in 2020. So if you do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more. And if you want to watch my Antonio Felix da Costa video I will leave it at the end of this video, or you can find it on my channel. I don't think it was that long ago. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Okay, so if you are here and you don't know who Nyck de Vries is, he is a Dutch racing driver. He was born in the city of Nyck and he is 25 years old, born on the 6th of February 1995. He is the current and reigning Formula 2 world champion from 2019, and this year, or actually technically last year, at the end of last year, he moved on to Formula E with Mercedes and is partnered up with Stoffel Vandoorne, who he actually worked with back at McLaren. They're both within McLaren at similar times, so they know each other very well. But yeah, let's just talk about why I think Nyck de Vries should be in Formula 1, because I know that he probably isn't always a common name to everybody, especially people that didn't watch Formula 2. He's not a name that everybody knows. Probably older Formula 1 fans, I want to say. I think sometimes the new generation know more about him, but a lot of people don't, and he is a guy that is very underrated. So that's why I'm going to talk to you about why I think he should have been in Formula 1. So let's go right back to the start of his career. He started karting in 2004, and then by 2008 was when he started to win at the championships and started to make his mark. In that year he won the WSJ World Series in karting, and he also won the KF3 category, and then in 2009 he went on to do it again, but also winning the European KF3 championship. So he won literally everything in both of those years, and he proved that he could do it twice. Then when he was 15 years old and 16 years old, which is arguably, you could say, is a little bit old to win karting championships. A lot of time people kind of do it when they're 12 or 13, but he actually won the World Karting Championships in 2010 and 2011. Now sometimes drivers tend to move on after they win 1 year in karting. They then get bumped up to single seaters, but Nyck actually done 2 years, but he proved that he could do it because he won both years. Now 2012 was when his career really kicks off. He actually then moved up to single seaters finally at the age of around 17 years old. So again, looking at, you know, the Formula 3 grid right now, we've got 16-year-old, 17-year-old drivers in that grid. So I know it's not the same as before, you know, I know back then you were older when you came up, but at the same time Max Verstappen, a fellow Dutchman, was in Formula 1 when he was 17. So Nyck's kind of, I found Nyck throughout his career have always done things later on. Like, as I said, he's 25 now. He's always doing things later on, but it doesn't take away from his talent. So in 2012 he done Formula Renault 2 Litre. He also done the NEC Championships, so he actually, you know, was juggling a lot of things. He got some wins in those series as well. He finished 5th and 10th respectively, but he wasn't making like a massive mark straight in, but he wasn't, you know, at the back. He was doing well. He was kind of staying within average. But I personally think his career is just getting better and better each year, and I know you could say that about every driver, but in 2014, like, he was absolutely amazing. He completely dominated the Formula Alps series that he done, and also the Renault Euro Cup that he done. Like, I think he got like 14 wins throughout the whole season. It was absolutely incredible. And to actually do 2 championships in 1 season or in 1 year is very impressive in itself. He's always been known, you know, to juggle things. He actually currently does a lot of world endurance at the same time as when he was doing Formula 2 and now Formula E. So he's always very good at juggling things. And in 2014 he actually won both the Euro Cup series and the Alps series ahead of Dennis Olsen for Euro Cup and Charles Leclerc. As we know, Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari man, the main man in Ferrari in Formula 1 at this current time, and he beat him in 2014 to the Alps title. So in 2015 he moved up to Renault 3.5 Litre and he came 3rd in that championship, proving enough for him to be taken up into GP3 the following year. Obviously that's, you know, on the Formula 1 calendar, that is a massive step to take up. That is the place you want to go to, and he's just been building up really nicely. He was teammates with Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon. Like, he's been in this, all of the series he's done with massive names, like teammates with Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon, and he's gone under the radar in so many series, and I just don't understand why. It's really confusing to me. So he finished up 6th in GP2 and got 2 wins, which was really good in his rookie season, and then got promoted to GP2, which is where he stayed for a couple of years. Now this is the bit which I really want to talk about. This is 2018 Formula 2 with Nyck de Vries. Now, I was very much into Formula 2 in 2018. This was a season I really watched. I think a lot of you will know the 2018 Formula 2 season, even if you didn't watch it. It had the likes of George Russell, I don't know why I said it like that, George Russell, it's not French, Lando Norris, Alex Albon. All of those big names were in Formula 2 in that year, and they all made the step up to Formula 1 in 2019. We know that. Every single one of them went up. But the frustrating thing for Nyck was that 2018 was when he stepped himself up, but he had such a competitive field that he kind of got overshone in a way from those 3, and it's such a shame because he'd done really well in the season. He was actually only 10 points away from Alex Albon and got, I think, only like 3 less podiums or something around that than Alex. You know, he's still done really well. Fair enough, he wasn't at the pace of the top 3, but he still showed he was such a good driver. But nevertheless, he didn't get brought up. He then switched to ART for 2019 Formula 2, and actually this is the bit which I'm not sure on, because when he was with McLaren, I didn't actually mention that he's been with McLaren since 2010 in the junior program. McLaren took him the whole way through. McLaren's done everything with him, and for me it's confusing because he'd done so well in 2018. Obviously I know Lando done better, we know that, we know Lando got the drive, but Nyck's still done a good job. I get that he is an older driver. By then he was like 23, 24, but I don't know why. I heard that McLaren dropped him at the start of 2019. I've read sometimes that McLaren dropped him. I've also read that he left McLaren to carry on his duties with Audi. He's actually been a Audi test and reserve / junior driver since 2016. So again, he's still balancing things throughout his whole career. But I heard that McLaren dropped him, and then I also heard that he left McLaren, so I'm not entirely sure which one is right. It might have been one of those mutual agreements, like, we're not sure if we really want you anymore, we're not going to say we dropped you, but like, do you want to move on? But it was a very hush-hush thing. It wasn't like a massive thing that came out. It wasn't like a big story. Like, we know Sergio Sette Camara moved on from McLaren to Red Bull, and that was more of a well-known thing, but Nyck's wasn't. But nevertheless, Nyck carried on his 2019 season on fire. His main competitors were Nicholas Latifi, Luca Giotto and Jack Aitken. Around, you know, those are the type of guys that were up in the championship. And arguably people were like, oh well, there weren't like amazing rookies coming up that year to take away the limelight, but Nyck's still done amazing. Nyck drove so well in his Formula 2 season last year, enough to wrap up the championship with a win in the feature race in Sochi. He had 3 races to go. Obviously they've got the sprint race on the Sunday, and then they had 2 races in Abu Dhabi, and he wrapped up the championship so early. And you don't always see that in Formula 2 unless someone completely dominates, and that's exactly what he did last year. But no doors are opened in Formula 1 in 2020, and it's such a shame because he is such a good talent. And at the time, in a way, I was like, do I want him to win this championship or not? Because I can't see where he's going to go. I can't see where he's going to end up. Like, where's the room for Nyck? You know, he's done so well coming up the ranks in all of these categories. He's done really well, especially, you know, his GP3 stint. Obviously, the first year in 2017 for Formula 2 wasn't amazing, but he came up to speed and he won the championship. And it's such a shame to see a Formula 2 champion have no room in Formula 1. This is meant to be the feeder series that you are meant to follow. They're following around the Formula 1 calendar for a reason, and to have the Formula 2 champion not come up is horrible. It's really not nice to see. Obviously we know 2016 Pierre Gasly came up, 2017 Charles Leclerc came up, 2018 George Russell came up, and 2019 there's no room for Nyck, and it's heartbreaking. He is such an amazing driver. He deserves to be in Formula 1. He's very talented, very level-headed actually. If you've ever seen an interview with him, he gives off almost like a Lewis Hamilton vibe, you know, very mature, very calming stance, knows exactly what he wants. There's nothing like immature about him. Not that there's anything wrong with like immature drivers or whatever, but he gives off one of those vibes that you're intrigued about him, you want to know more about him. He's a very mysterious guy. He knows how he needs to act at the racetracks, but at the same time he can also have a little bit of fun, and I really love his personality. I think he's got such a good head on him. Unfortunately it wasn't enough to impress anybody, and I know not many doors opened for Formula 1 kind of going into this year, but it's such a shame because there's plenty of drivers on that grid that I would personally say should move over or shouldn't really be on the grid anymore, and Nyck could easily have taken that place, and you know, he could have done something. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Nyck does balance a lot of, you know, different series. I said he balanced the Euro Cup and also the Alps series, and he also has been doing WEC. Now, we know World Endurance. World Endurance is amazing, and he's also been doing that since 2018. He has raced for Team Netherlands, and he done that in 18 and 19, and also 19-20. Both years with the team for the 24-hour Le Mans, they came 9th, and he actually had quite a big crash last year at Le Mans. I remember watching it, and it was a massive crash. It's not something that Nyck is known for. He's actually a very composed driver. Doesn't crash very often, but it's going to happen. You're doing such a long stint, you know, it's the 24-hour Le Mans. I couldn't even imagine to drive that. But they got the car repaired, and they did eventually finish 9th. So he's got speed and he's got talent. At the same time, he could do endurance racing. Like, I think that's such an amazing thing to have, is the talent of being able to do both of these things. Some drivers can only do one thing. There's very rarely some of them that can do both of them really well, but he can. So personally, I think Nyck has kind of accepted now that there isn't a door opening in Formula 1. I'm not sure where he would fit in now. The only thing I could really say is whether maybe Mercedes would pick him up now that he is currently in Formula E with Mercedes. He is actually running really, really well this year for Mercedes in Formula E. He's currently running 13th in the championship, and Formula E is back underway I think it's next week, which is really exciting. They're doing all these back-to-back races in Berlin. So if you do not watch Formula E, I would definitely get on it. There's amazing names in there. Obviously, as I said, Stoffel Vandoorne is his teammate, Nyck de Vries. You've got so many big names in Formula E. So I definitely check it out if you haven't watched that, because Nyck's really fast, and it's difficult to get up to speed between, you know, going from a Dallara Formula 2 car to then jumping into an electric Formula E car. It's a massive difference, but he's adapted really well. He's done really well, and I think going on further and then into next year, into the 2021 season for Formula E, he's going to do even better. But again, there's a little bit of hope. You know, he's with Mercedes, he's in the Mercedes team. I'm actually really, really happy that Mercedes picked him up for the Formula E drive. I was very worried that he would maybe get lost into World Endurance. There's so many drivers in World Endurance, you just don't know whether he's going to get lost in the realms of how many drivers there are and just get pushed back aside and be doing that for years. So it's nice that he's, you know, still at the forefront of people's minds in Formula E. As we know, Formula E is up and coming. I really rate the series. I know some people don't, but I really, really rate it. It's such a good series. But yeah, there might be a door opening, you know, maybe if Mercedes might, you know, need a driver in Formula 1, but I don't know. That's just me getting my hopes up for, you know, maybe possibility in the next couple of years or so. Now, the newest news on Nyck only came out a couple of weeks ago, and this was on the 6th of July, and this was that he's going to be the test and reserve driver for Toyota Gazoo Racing in World Endurance Championship. Now, this is absolutely massive. I don't know whether he's still doing the WEC with Racing Team Netherlands. I don't know if somebody knows more about Nyck de Vries, or, you know, knows more about World Endurance, but I don't know whether he's still doing that with Team Netherlands or not. But he's taken up this role with Team Gazoo doing their test and development, and I think that's absolutely massive for him, because if you know World Endurance and if you're into World Endurance, you know they are the biggest team. They are the name. Like, every single time they come out on top, they are absolutely amazing. They've got such a strong lineup every single time. Both cars are amazing, so it's big for him to do that, and I'm really hoping that he can get in the field and actually get into that car. Obviously, I love Team Netherlands. I think they're a really good team, but, you know, this is like going from a midfield Formula 1 team to going to the top. So this is really big news for Nyck, but at the same time, it kind of solidifies for me that he doesn't see a future in Formula 1, so he's trying to, you know, just, you know, display more options elsewhere. So that kind of sucks a little bit, because I believe that he's got the talent. As I'm doing this video, you know, I know that's why I think he's got the ability to be in Formula 1, but he's still doing amazing outside of Formula 1. As I said, he's currently doing Formula E, which returns next week, and obviously got big things in plan for World Endurance. So there we have it. That is my video on Nyck de Vries and why I believe he should be in Formula 1. I hope you kind of enjoyed this video. I just talked you through, you know, his stats and how amazing he's been doing, and the points difference. I think a lot of people didn't realise that points different in Formula 2. The fact that he was only 10 points off Alex Albon, but it completely ruined his opportunity in Formula 1, and then winning the championship next year. He's still the reigning champion. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Let me know if you want me to do this on anybody else. Let me know in the comment section below, or DM me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. All my links are in the description box. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.